Derby County have a huge injury update heading into their fixture up against Leicester City on Saturday afternoon. And it is a huge update that we all wanted to hear. Rhian Brewster is edging ever closer to a return to first team football for Derby County, and that is something that we absolutely do need. Now, it is anticipated that Rhian Brewster will be back on the grass on Friday. It might be a little bit too soon to be involved on Saturday, but it's massive to have a player of his quality back heading into this Christmas period. And who can wait to see Rhian Brewster starting for Derby County, replacing Briatan Diaz on that right hand side. Shall we dive a little bit deeper into the latest injury update? If you have not done so already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. This is the Derby Digest. Let's dive into it. Now, obviously, the most important news is that on Rhian Brewster. He is anticipated to be back within training on Friday, which gives him the possibility of being involved on Saturday, although I personally wouldn't expect it. Obviously, we found out a couple of weeks ago that Max Johnston was back on the grass, and that is huge news for Derby County, in my opinion, because it offers a little bit more strength in depth in that right wing back position and offers a situation where we have two players who can play that role in Joe Ward and Max Johnston. Obviously, you then have Ryan Nyambi as the more defensive option if needs be. And I personally believe that Max Johnston will go on to have a fabulous second half of the year. Obviously, there's so much going on heading into January, and there's a lot of talk going on at the moment. But we've got to make sure that we talk about the players like Lewis Travis, like David Ozo, and even in the form of Danny Bart, who missed out on the previous game. And there is a lot of speculation and talk going on about these injuries at the moment. Obviously, we will give a little update on Carlton Morris. We was given a brief update after Middlesbrough from John Eustace, saying that he was going to be out for 10 to 12 weeks. Now, whether that 10 to 12 weeks started when he did the injury or after that update, I'm not entirely sure, but we're in that position where we're probably not going to see him until, February time at minimum, which is obviously hugely disappointing for Carlton Morris, who was in incredible form at Derby County. But unfortunately, that is just part and parcel of the situation we find ourselves in, and it opens up a massive window of opportunity heading into the January transfer window. Well, let's get on to the players who we could see in a return over the course of the next few weeks. And we'll start off with Danny Bart, because there's not really a huge update in regards to Danny Bart, because some of you will know he played, was it last Tuesday, up against Swansea City, played a full 90 minutes. Did brilliantly, in my personal opinion, and I think was probably right on the edge of being able to start on Saturday up against Middlesbrough. But obviously, unfortunately for Danny Bart, he picked up a little bit of a knock in training before they travelled down to Borough, which unfortunately meant that he wasn't able to be involved. Now, John Eustace did confirm that he is now back in training. It's nothing major, and he'll probably be back around the group on Saturday. Obviously, there's been a big situation with Curtis Nelson, obviously now being registered for the squad. He's been involved in the last couple of games as well. Obviously, we've not seen him step on the pitch, of course, because obviously the Swansea game wasn't necessarily needed. Middlesbrough game, again, probably wasn't needed. The Swansea game, the Middlesbrough game wasn't needed because we needed to go out, try and win the game. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of those situations. Will we see Curtis Nelson step on the pitch again in a Derby shirt? I'm not entirely sure, but I certainly think Derby County are sort of putting him in that window of opportunity to maybe open up a move in the January transfer window. But we'll sort of wait and see sort of how that progresses. Obviously, Derby County have got to make moves in January in order to improve the squad, and that could see someone like Curtis Nelson step out. Now, in terms of Lewis Travis, we have a positive update in regards to Lewis Travis, which is something we haven't had. Now, he was about 3 weeks away, nearly a month ago now, and he's only just got back on the grass. He's progressing, and the scans are showing improvement, which is obviously massively important for Derby County. And I think Lewis Travis will be massive when it comes to starting to see out these games later on. Like, I think he would have been huge for the game against Watford. I think he would have been huge for the game against Middlesbrough in order to just close down the barrier essentially and not let them through. But obviously there's nothing we can do about that now, unfortunately, and we've just got to move on. Now, he is back on the grass, not quite with the group yet. I think he'll probably be another couple of weeks away, but that puts us in a position where we're heading into that run of 3 or 4 games in the space of 10-11 days, which will be massive for Derby County at the time, but we're going to have to wait and see sort of how that progresses in terms of injuries and things like that. Now, David Ozo was originally out for 3 to 4 weeks, and we're still getting that same 3 to 4 week line. Now, I don't know, obviously, the ins and outs of the injury. I don't know sort of where he is in his recovery. But we got 3 to 4 weeks a couple of weeks ago from John Eustace heading into, I think it was the Swansea game, maybe the game before that. And he's pedalled out the 3 to 4 weeks line again heading into this one. So I personally wouldn't expect to see David Ozo back within the squad until at least mid-January. But we will sort of wait and see sort of how that sort of progresses over the course of the next few weeks. Because at the end of the day, it's one of those where Max Johnston wasn't supposed to even be back in training until the end of December. He's already back on the grass. Lewis Travis should pretty much be back with the group now. He's not. He's only just got back on the grass. So it's one of those things. As much as we've got sort of a great team behind the scenes at Derby County, we know that these injury situations sort of go massively up and down in terms of our players, and it never seems to go the way that we desire. Let's put it that way. So I'm hoping that over the course of the next few weeks we can start to see returns for the likes of Travis, the likes of Johnston, obviously Rhian Brewster getting back in the group as well. And then obviously we'll finally get to see Carlton Morris back on the grass at the end of January, which will be brilliant. But there's a lot of moves that have got to be made as a result of these injuries for me. And for me, Derby County have got to be looking at left back. They've got to be looking at central midfield. They've got to be looking at the wide areas. And we spoke about a couple of deals that could potentially be going on behind the scenes based on reports. And a lot of them I highly doubt will happen, but we're going to talk about all of it on this channel. And I think when you look at the injury situation for Derby County, you've obviously got Max Johnston, Rhian Brewster, Lewis Travis, David Ozo, Danny Bart. You've got Carlton Morris as well. We've got 6 players out injured of a 25-man squad, and it puts us in a really sort of difficult spot for me. Now, do I think that Derby County have the buying power to improve the squad in January? Absolutely, but I think we've got to be honest with the situation in regards to January, in that we can't do anything unless we let people go. And who are we letting go at the end of the day? Because we're not going to let a central midfielder go because we don't have enough of them. We're not going to let a forward go because we don't have enough of them. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one does develop and what moves do go on during that January transfer window, because I think it's going to be huge based on the injury situation where Derby County focus all their efforts. Obviously, at the moment, you've got Ibu Adams, Bobby Clark and Liam Thompson as your central midfield trio, and Travis and Ozo are injured. And I just don't think the quality is there off the bench with Liam Thompson, or even if you put in a youngster, I don't quite think the quality is there yet, or at least we haven't been able to see the quality. So we are going to have to sort of wait and see sort of how this progresses over the course of the next few weeks with injury returns and things like that. Obviously, if David Ozo has a setback, it could be a similar situation to that of Owen Beck, where he gets sent back to Crystal Palace. But we will wait and see. Now, obviously, if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye, guys.